So, yesterday I made a video specifically talking about Epstein talking UFOs, and when you watch the video, he doesn't specify UFOs and UAPs. However, I had done enough research to be like, yeah, duh, but I forgot that you haven't done the same research, and I didn't explain myself. So, Epstein talks Los Alamos, Cold War, World War II era, specifically around the time of Oppenheimer, and you see Oppenheimer was working on the nuclear bomb, and during that same time period we were also researching the Hydrogen Collider, as well as metaphysics, quantum mechanics, and trying to understand the universe at that same exact time period. So a lot was going on there. Now, the misunderstanding of things at that time, or maybe not, was considered, they called UFOs UAPs now miracles because they are multi-dimensional objects. And the interesting thing is about these objects are the fact that they can pinpoint and predict future events. And we know this through David Fravor, because when he was flying in his jet chasing the Tic Tac UAP, it ended up going to his waypoint. It predicted his waypoint.
Princeton comes up right as we're doing all this and says, "Hey sir, you're not going to believe this." He goes, "But that thing is at your cap point."
According to Fravor, the Tic Tac accelerated from a standing position and flew approximately 60 miles in under a minute, as fast as 3,700 miles an hour. How did the Tic Tac know the pilot's cap point? And how did it accelerate so quickly?
How in the world could something pinpoint where David Fravor was going to fly? Interestingly enough, you see, Lockheed Martin had a commercial about 5 years ago that stated something along the same lines. Listen.
They'll be like UAVs, but carry cargo around where there are currently no infrastructure in place.
We may have small swarms of small vehicles interacting with a larger vehicle that basically combines the information from that swarm. So maybe one vehicle flies a small distance and another vehicle learns from it and knows which way to fly.
Probably what makes sense is...
My bad. 12 years ago. Either way, he just said it's going to interact with another vehicle and then learn where it's going to fly. And don't forget, Ross Coulthart says the Tic Tac was indeed Lockheed Martin.
I know categorically that the Tic Tac is Lockheed Martin technology.
Okay.
Why are we being lied to?
Are you paying attention? Now this ties us back to Epstein, because Epstein talks specifically about some of these connections at Los Alamos. This is deep, but focus.
Early 90s, Santa Fe was funded for the study of complexity theory.
It was studied with math. So let's back up. So why did I buy a ranch in New Mexico in 1993? So that gives you some sense. So I would have funded it in 1990. Los Alamos, which was the high energy lab up in New Mexico, was losing all its scientists.
In Los Alamos, it was where Oppenheimer and where a lot of the nuclear weapons program, the bomb.
That's where the Manhattan Project.
Manhattan Project was as Los Alamos, and you bought your property out in New Mexico to be near that?
Yes, because the scientists were going to be, they cut the funding for high energy physics. But the people who worked in Los Alamos would still be in the Santa Fe area.
They cut that because this was the Cold War dividend, right?
I don't remember exactly why. It was because, again, people thought that physics and high energy physics really wasn't that important.
Because that was about nuclear weapons.
No, it was because they decided, which may be not right, this was the same time that Murray Gell-Mann came up with the term quark, Q-U-A-R-K. He picked it out of an old poem, the word quark, but it was mysterious. So they were starting to understand in the 90s that our world of the physics world, there was things that were just unexplainable. They called it strange things. You gave it a name, you gave it some characteristics, you called it had charm, was one of the terms. It had a charm, it had a flavor, it had a color. But no one, Mr. Bannon, understood what it was. Just like the financial system.
And you wanted to investigate that?
I wanted to see if we could build tools so others smarter than me could help investigate it.
And that was the beginning of your concept of the Santa Fe Institute?
Yes.
And Santa Fe Institute was founded to do study in this type of...
Can these areas of strange things be described by some form of mathematics?
So that's what I'm trying to get at. The foundational thought, the organizing principle of Santa Fe
Yes.
in the high physics lab at Los Alamos,
Right.
which had been the headquarters of Manhattan and the Trinity Project, right, the bomb.
Yes.
So you're talking about the elite, the high priest
Of physics.
of physics.
Yes, sir.
Which high priest of physics, some subset of that is also mathematics. That's math.
Yes, they're both similar.
Project out. One of the tools you want to do is to make sure that in this complex system, the finance system, I'm doing a lot of this for philanthropy and a lot for the good of mankind, but also to be able to understand this complex system, the most complex outside of maybe our body, of the financial world.
Yes.
Did they create tools, or were you smarter in than the mid-aughts, 15 years later, than you had been then because of work that was done at Santa Fe?
No. It was great. But in fact, most of the money, most of my philanthropy in the area of can you describe things that appear to be unexplainable by mathematics, and can you fund people who have new ideas? And unfortunately, when someone thinks they've been able to, there was a man, Stuart Kaufman, when they think okay, I figured out how to be able to predict the unpredictable, what appears to other people to be unpredictable. But my system, in those days it was called genetic algorithms, can predict what things will happen, and they all want to make money. So they use their systems to try to figure out, they know they have figured out the way to make money because they figured out the unexplainable. They try, they go bankrupt, and we start again. So with a cold view, what I've come to realize is that the attempt to mathematize, formularize, or what in your prior work, to understand what really is, in today's world, still unexplainable, is impossible. They're miracles.
Last but not least, sorry this is a long video, NHI, non-human intelligence, was brought up 37 times in the very first UAP bill that was brought to Congress. Think about it.
You're going to find out that a lot of these stories, just take New Mexico. New Mexico is going to be the hub that connects atomic weapons, UFOs, and Jeffrey Epstein. And they're all going to merge into one story about power that we don't understand. Human power is going to be centered in a state that we barely ever talk about, and including Bill Richardson at the Department of Energy, which of course is really the custodian of physics and our nuclear weapons that Jimmy Carter converted from the AEC, where atomic energy was the cover story for atomic weapons. So we went from atomic weapons to atomic energy to just energy, and now we sound like Bill Richardson went there to be the head of oil.
So does Lockheed Martin have NHI? And did they figure out a way to use it to predict the future? Think about it. Think about it. We'll see you next time.